The curse. They feared. The rain fell quietly over the old ruins, a place forgotten by most. In the center of the crumbling stones sat a small, thin alien boy. His skin was pale blue, and his large eyes were filled with fear. He held a worn blanket over his mother, who lay still on the cold floor. Her breaths were weak and her body shook with fever. No one dared to come near them. The villagers had called them cursed. The boy's name was Leo. He was only 6, but he already knew pain, hunger, and loneliness. His mother, her name was Vera, had once been part of a proud people. But after her husband died, strange things started happening. Lights flickered around her when she cried. Machines broke when she touched them. And people began to whisper, "They bring death. Bad luck follows them." The village leader forced her out, saying the curse would destroy them all. Vera begged to stay, but no one listened. Since then, she had hidden in the ruins with her son. She burned wood at night and searched for berries during the day, but food was gone, and her body had grown weaker each day. That night, as thunder rolled in the distance, Leo looked up at the sky and whispered, "Please, someone help us. Anyone." Far away, a human man named Jace was fixing his small hoverbike under a rock ledge. He had come to this part of the world looking for work, but found only silence and stories. People in the nearby village had warned him, "Don't go toward the ruins. That's where the cursed widow lives." He thought it was just fear talking. But that night, while checking his tools, he heard something strange. A voice. Faint. Sad. A child's cry. He stood still. The wind was strong and the sound came again. He grabbed a flashlight and followed the sound through the broken trees and crumbled walls. Soon he saw a small light, barely a flicker, from inside the ruins. Jace stepped closer and saw the boy sitting beside a pale woman. "Hey," Jace said softly. "You all right?" Leo jumped up, blocking his mother with his small body. "Go, away. We don't need you." But Jace could see the truth in the child's eyes. He was terrified. "I'm not here to hurt you," Jace said. "I heard someone crying. I came to help." Vera opened her eyes barely. Her voice was no louder than a whisper. "Leave. You don't want to be near us." Jace stepped closer. He saw her condition, sweat on her face, lips cracked from thirst. She needed help. "I've got medicine. Clean water, too. I'm not afraid of your curse." Leo looked up, surprised. "You know? I heard the stories." Jace nodded. "But stories aren't always true." He opened his pack and pulled out a water bottle. Leo snatched it and helped his mother drink. Her fingers trembled. Her eyes didn't leave the human. "Why would you help?" she asked weakly. "Because you're still breathing," Jace said. "That's enough for me." He gave them a heat pack and small food rations. Leo ate quickly, not believing his luck. Vera tried, but her stomach was weak. As the rain kept falling, Jace built a small fire inside the ruins using dry scraps from his bag. He pulled a thermal blanket from his satchel and placed it over Vera. He stayed with them, sitting against a broken wall. Then something strange happened. The fire flickered. His tools began to beep softly, though they weren't turned on. A faint light glowed near Vera's skin. It was soft, like veins glowing with blue light. Jace didn't panic. He just watched. "That's the curse?" he asked. Vera nodded slowly. "It's not a curse. It's something old. In my blood. My husband died trying to hide it." "And the village?" "They were afraid." Jace leaned forward. "I'm not." She looked at him with tired eyes. For the first time in weeks, her heart felt something warm. Hope. But, high above, in the hills near the village, a pair of red eyes watched the ruins through a scanner. A small device blinked. The signal was found. A voice spoke through the static. "Target located. The cursed bloodline still lives." The child, with fading breath morning light, broke through the cracks in the ruined walls, but it brought no warmth. Vera lay still under the blanket, her skin pale and damp. Jace knelt beside her, checking her forehead. It was burning. He turned to the boy. Leo, she's getting worse. Leo hugged his knees. She always gets cold at night, but now she won't wake up much. Jace opened his med kit and pulled out a small vial. This will help bring her fever down, but it's not enough. She needs real treatment, and food and rest. Leo looked up, worried. They'll hurt her if we go near the town. They said she's dangerous. I know, Jace said, his voice firm. That's why I'm not asking them. I'll take her to my ship. I've got better supplies there. But as he stood to lift Vera, something shimmered under her skin again. Those soft blue lines, pulsing faintly like light moving through veins. Jace paused. His scanner beeped once more. He checked his arm. The same soft blue line had spread along his wrist. Faint, but visible. It hadn't been there last night. Jace stared at it, confused. What is this? It's the bond. Vera whispered suddenly. Her eyes were half open. You stayed too close. It touched you. What do you mean? He asked. She blinked slowly. You've been marked. You carry the energy now. Leo's voice trembled. Will it hurt him? Mama? Vera's answer was slow. No. Not if he stays kind. Outside the ruins, something stirred. A strange clicking echoed through the trees. 4 figures in dark armor walked in silence. Their suits had no markings. One carried a small device, tracking, the faint signal coming from Vera's blood. Found it, one said in a flat voice. She's not dead. Another adjusted a blaster. Orders? Alive. But if the human interferes, we end him. They split into 2 pairs and crept toward the ruins. Back inside, Jace had carefully lifted Vera onto a makeshift stretcher. Leo followed, holding a cloth bundle with all they had left. Some berries, a broken picture of his father, and a small crystal that glowed weakly when near his mother. I parked my ship not far from here, Jace said. We'll take her there. I'll boost the med bay. He stepped into the clearing, then stopped. He heard a faint sound. Not wind, not birds. A click, then another. Stay low, he whispered to Leo. Get behind that tree. Leo didn't move. What is it? Jace scanned the area with his eyes. I don't know, but we're not alone. Suddenly, a dart whizzed through the air and struck the stretcher's edge. Jace dropped to the ground, covering Vera. Another dart flew, narrowly missing Leo. From the trees stepped 2 masked hunters, weapons raised. Their armor was black and their faces were hidden. Leave the woman, one said. You don't understand what you've touched. Jace stood slowly. I don't care. She's sick. She needs help. You've been marked by her curse, the second one said. You're already infected. It's not a curse, Leo shouted. She's not evil. Jace reached into his belt and threw a flash grenade at the ground. Bright light exploded, blinding the attackers for a moment. He grabbed the stretcher and dragged it behind the trees, pulling Leo along. We have to move, he said. Leo cried out, Where can we go? To the ship. They raced through the trees. Branches scratched Jace's arms. Behind them, the hunters followed. More darts flew, one grazing Jace's leg. He stumbled but kept going. Finally, they reached a clearing where Jace's small ship sat hidden beneath a net of leaves. He pulled open the door, threw Leo inside, and carried Vera to the med bay. Close the hatch, he yelled. Leo hit the switch. The ship sealed shut just as another dart slammed against the outer hull. Jace rushed to the med controls. Vera's heartbeat was slow. Her temperature was rising again. He injected her with a stronger serum and activated the auto-heal system. She'll need time, Jace said. But this should hold her. Leo sat beside her, tears running down his cheeks. I don't want her to die. She won't, Jace said. Not if I can help it. He looked at the scanner again. The blue light on his wrist had grown slightly. It pulsed in sync with Vera's breathing. Jace didn't know what it meant. Yet, But he knew this. He wasn't leaving. Outside the ship, the hunters stood still. Their scanner had lost the signal. "She's protected," one said bitterly. "The bond has chosen him." "Then he's not just helping her," the other replied. "He's part of it now." The widow's secret Jace sat quietly beside the med pod, watching Vera breathe. Her chest moved slowly, but the blue glow under her skin was steady now, like a rhythm, gentle and alive. Her fever had gone down, and the machines said her vitals were stable. Leo had finally fallen asleep beside her, curled up like a kitten protecting its mother. But Jace couldn't sleep. The mark on his wrist was glowing again, brighter than before. Not painful, just strange. It pulsed softly as if it were alive, connected to something. Maybe to her. He walked to the control panel and checked the external cameras. The hunters were gone, for now, but Jace knew they would return. They hadn't been here for money or for violence. They had been there for her, Vera, the cursed widow. But why? An hour later, Vera opened her eyes. She blinked a few times and tried to sit up, but her arms were weak. Jace helped her gently and gave her a cup of warm broth. "You saved us," she whispered. Jace smiled lightly. "You still have a fever, but the meds are working. Your boy is safe. You're safe." She looked at her son, sleeping peacefully, and her eyes filled with tears. No one ever stayed this long. Jace sat down beside her. Who were those hunters? Her face turned pale. They were seekers, sent to find and erase anything. Unnatural. Unnatural? He asked, lifting his wrist to show the mark. "You mean this?" Vera looked down at the glowing symbol. Her lips trembled. "You shouldn't have helped us. Now it's in you. Part of you." "What is it?" She looked him in the eyes, and this time she didn't turn away. "It's not a curse. It's ancient technology. From before the stars, we're mapped. My people call it the Alarian Echo. It lives in bloodlines, passed down from the firstborn." Jace frowned. "So, you're not just some village widow." She smiled sadly. "No, I'm the last daughter of House Varel. My ancestors ruled a hidden empire, but our kind was hunted because this power frightened them. They said we were cursed." He listened closely. "And your husband?" "He was human, like you. He found me injured long ago. He loved me even after he saw the mark. He chose to protect me and paid with his life. They called his death a curse, too." Jace looked down. "And now you're alone." "No," she said softly, looking at her child. "Not anymore. Leo has it too, though it's still sleeping in him." Jace's eyes widened. "Is that why they came? To take him?" Vera nodded. "The Seekers believe if they collect the bloodline, they can use it, or destroy it. My son is their real goal." Jace stood up. "Then we need to move. Now. Somewhere safe." "There's nowhere safe," she said. "They'll never stop hunting us." But Jace stepped forward, determination in his eyes. "They will if I make them." Vera's voice was quiet. "You don't understand what you've done by helping us." "Maybe not," he said. "But I know this. What I saw in the village, in their eyes, was fear. Fear of something they don't understand. That's not a curse, that's a gift, and I won't run from it." Vera's eyes welled with emotion. "You speak like he did, like my husband." Jace turned and checked the ship's scanners. The signal from the mark on his wrist was active. They could follow him now. But maybe, just maybe, he could turn that against them. He walked back to her. "I need you to teach me. About the Echo. About what's inside me now." She hesitated. "It may change you." "Good," he said. "I want to understand what they're so afraid of." Outside, in the shadowy forest, another figure arrived. Not a hunter, but something older, clothed in a long, dark cloak, its face hidden. It watched the ship silently, then tapped a strange crystal device. A voice answered from the shadows. "Is it her, the figure spoke softly. "Yes. The last of House Varel, and she's not alone. The Echo has chosen a new protector," the voice hissed. "A human?" "Yes," the figure replied. "And the bond is deepening." Inside the ship, Vera held her son's hand as he slept. "I never wanted this life for him," she whispered. Jace nodded. "But it's the life he has, and he has you, and now he has me too." Vera looked up. Her eyes were glowing faintly now, not with fear, but with trust. "Then I'll show you," she said. "I'll show you the truth behind the curse." Jace placed his hand over hers. "Let's make them fear the truth." Hunters in the mist. The forest was quiet, but it was not empty. Mist crept along the ground like cold fingers. Trees stood like giants in the fog, their shapes twisted and dark. The sound of birds had vanished. The silence was thick, unnatural. 3 shadows moved carefully between the trees. The Seekers had returned. Their helmets glowed faintly red in the mist. They said nothing, made no sound. They followed only the signal, the faint pulse from the human man now linked to the ancient bloodline. He was marked. The bond had chosen him, and that made him a threat. "The child is the target," one Seeker whispered through the comlink. "But remove the human." Quietly. They moved toward the ship. Inside the small craft, Vera stood barefoot on the floor. Her eyes were closed. Her hands hovered over Jace's arm. The glowing lines in his skin pulsed softly. "You feel that?" she asked. Jace nodded. "It's like a heartbeat. Not mine, not yours. Something else." "The Echo," she whispered. "It's awake now, and it's watching you." "Watching?" he asked. "The Echo isn't just power, it's memory. It remembers every voice, every pain, every hand that tried to use it or protect it. Now it remembers you." Jace felt a chill run down his spine. "What happens if it doesn't like me?" Vera opened her eyes. "Then it rejects you, and you'll burn." Jace gave a tight smile. "Good to know." Leo sat near the back of the ship, drawing circles on the floor with his finger. He kept looking at his mother, then at Jace. He had never seen her speak so freely. Never seen her smile even a little. He whispered to himself, "Maybe he's different. Maybe he won't leave." But outside, danger was already crawling closer. The first Seeker reached the edge of the clearing. He raised a small orb into the air. It floated silently, scanning the ship for heat, life, movement. Inside, Jace's wrist lit up suddenly, much brighter than before. Vera gasped. "They're here." "How many?" he asked, grabbing his blaster. 3, maybe more. She reached into a hidden compartment near the ship's wall and pulled out a small silver cube. "Take this." Jace looked at it. "What is it?" "A defense. If they breach the hull, press this against the wall." Jace nodded. "And you?" "I'll protect the boy." Outside, one Seeker crept to the ship's rear. He placed a silent charge against the hull. 5 seconds. No alarm. Inside, Jace heard the soft thud. "Rear side," he whispered. Vera ran to Leo and pulled him close. "Stay quiet. Do not move until I say." Jace crawled toward the wall and pressed the cube against it. A soft hum spread through the ship. Outside, just as the charge went off, a sudden pulse of light erupted from the ship's skin. It threw the Seeker back 10 feet. His armor sparked. He groaned, alive but stunned. The other Seekers raised their weapons and fired. Jace dove to the floor as the ship rocked. Sparks flew from the controls. Leo screamed. Vera shouted, "You have to draw them away." "Alone?" Jace said. She stepped forward, her hand glowing. "Not alone." She touched his chest, and the blue light from her body flowed into his. For a moment, everything went silent. His heart slowed. Then It synced. Jace gasped. What did you do? You're not just marked now, she said. You're bonded. The Echo will protect you. Or kill me, he muttered, grabbing his gear. He looked back at the boy and nodded. Stay with your mother. I'll bring them away from here. Jace exited through the side hatch and ran into the trees. The Seekers spotted him and gave chase. As he ran, the world seemed to shift around him. The forest lit up in flashes. Trees shimmered. Paths opened where none had been. He moved faster than before. His body didn't ache. The Echo was guiding him. One Seeker caught up and fired. Jace turned, raised his hand, and without touching his weapon, a pulse of light exploded forward. The Seeker flew back and hit a tree, armor cracking. Jace blinked. Did I just do that? The echo inside his blood glowed brighter as if answering, yes. Back at the ship, Vera closed the hatch and placed her hands on the walls. A dome of soft blue energy surrounded them. Mama, Leo whispered. Are they going to get him? Vera smiled through tears. No, he's not like the others. Jace reached a hilltop. He turned around. The last two Seekers stood below, weapons ready. Give us the child, one said coldly. This is your only warning. Jace raised both hands. He's not yours. He never was. They fired, but before the shots hit, the Echo. Inside, Jace burst open, energy flaring from his body like a shield. The blasts melted in the air. The Seekers stepped back. Impossible. Jace's voice was steady. Tell your masters, she's not alone anymore. A queen without a throne. The forest lay still again. The Seekers were gone, chased off, beaten back, confused by what they had seen. A human marked by the Echo. A cursed woman still breathing. And a child they could not touch. Jace stood at the edge of the hilltop staring into the mist. His heart pounded not from fear but from something else. Power. Energy. Connection. He turned and walked back toward the ship, his steps lighter now, almost guided. Trees moved slightly out of his way. Leaves shimmered as he passed. It was as if the forest itself knew him now. Inside the ship, Vera sat beside her son. She was pale but alert. Her hand stroked Leo's hair gently. The moment Jace entered, Leo jumped up. You're back, Jace smiled and knelt. Told you I'd come back. Vera stood slowly, her body still recovering. But something in her had changed. She looked taller, stronger. She walked up to Jace. You faced the Seekers and survived. He nodded. I think the Echo helped. She studied his face. You were chosen. It didn't kill you. That means you're part of us now. Jace raised an eyebrow. So, what does that make me? Cursed too? No, she whispered. It makes you royal. Jace laughed lightly. Royal? Me? She stepped closer. You don't understand. The Echo only bonds fully with one outside the bloodline when it senses protection, loyalty, love. It hasn't done that in over 1,000 years. Jace looked confused. Are you saying, it chose me because I care? Yes, Vera said, because you didn't run. That night, Vera sat at the ship's table with Jace, her face calm. She took a deep breath. I was supposed to rule one day, she said quietly. Not over planets, over memory. Memory? Jace asked. My people kept records of the ancient past. The Echo is more than light. It carries voices, images, even knowledge. Every ruler was chosen not to lead, but to remember. She held out her hand. A glowing image floated above her palm. A city in the clouds, towers made of crystal, ships that moved like wind. This was Varel, my home, before it fell. Jace's eyes widened. It's beautiful. It was, she said, until war came. They feared our minds, our memory, so they erased us, burned our cities, hunted my family. My mother died in fire, my father in chains. I was taken as a child bride to silence the line, but I escaped alone and I've been hiding ever since. She touched the image and it vanished. Jace was silent for a long time. Then he said softly, "You're not alone anymore." Outside, a single seeker helmet lay cracked in the moss. A stranger picked it up, a woman with long, flowing black armor and strange golden markings on her face. She looked up toward the forest canopy and smiled. "So the queen still breathes," she said. She turned and walked into the darkness. In the morning, Vera stood on a hilltop with Jace and Leo. The ship sat behind them, hidden again. She looked over the horizon and said, "If we stay here, more will come. Not just seekers, others, those who want the child, the bond, or revenge." Jace nodded. "So we run?" She shook her head. "No. We go where they least expect." Jace raised an eyebrow. "Where?" "To the ruins of Varel," she said. "My throne is broken. My city is ash. But the echo is calling us back. It wants to awaken fully." Leo looked up. "Mama, is that where you were born?" "Yes, my son," she said. "And it's time you saw it." Jace looked down at Leo and then at the woman beside him. "You said I was part of this now. Then I go with you." She took his hand. "You're more than part of this. You're the first human the Echo ever accepted as protector." That evening, as they prepared for travel, Jace saw something new. Vera stood straight, her eyes glowing faintly with golden light. She wore a long cloak from the storage bin and held a silver staff once hidden under the floorboards. "What's that?" Jace asked. "My mother's staff," she said. "It responds only to the true line. I haven't touched it in years. But now's it answers. Because you're ready?" "No," she said, looking at him. "Because I'm not alone." Deep in the galaxy, a council of powerful beings watched a red hologram of Jace and Vera walking together through the mist. A voice snarled, "She awakens the echo. With a human?" Another voice laughed darkly. "Then this will be more fun than we thought." The curse awakens. The journey to Varel's ruins began before sunrise. The ship floated quietly over hills and forests, cutting through clouds like a ghost. Jace sat in the pilot's seat, following the ancient path that Vera had drawn with glowing fingers on the screen, lines only she could trace. Leo slept in the back, curled in a blanket, dreaming of cities made of light. Vera stood behind. "Jace." Her eyes locked on the horizon. She didn't blink much anymore. The closer they flew to Varel, the more the echo stirred inside her. And inside him, Jace rubbed his wrist. The mark now spread halfway up his arm like a tattoo made of blue fire. "It's getting stronger," he said. Vera nodded. "The echo is preparing you." "For what?" he asked. She met his eyes. "For war." The ship touched down on rocky soil. Ahead lay the ruins of Varel, once a city in the sky, now broken and sunken into the earth like forgotten bones. Tall towers leaned sideways, overgrown with glowing moss. Silver statues were half buried in sand, and at the center stood a large stone gate, cracked but still humming faintly. Leo stepped out of the ship and whispered, "It feels alive." "It is," Vera replied. "This place still remembers." Jace looked around, stunned. "How is it still glowing after so long?" "Because the echo lives in the stone, too," she said. "Everything here carries memory. The walls, the air, even the dust." They reached the broken gate. As Vera stepped closer, the stone lit up in circles, one after another. Then a voice echoed from the walls. "Vera, daughter of Varel, you have returned." Jace took a step back. "Was that real?" Vera smiled faintly. "It remembers me." Then the gate opened. Inside was a hidden chamber, perfectly preserved. Soft blue light floated above the floor like mist. Ancient chairs lined the edges of the room. In the center stood a pedestal, and upon it sat a crown of silver and crystal. It pulsed once, as if it had been waiting. Vera stepped forward but stopped. "I can't," she said. "Not yet." Jace looked at her, confused. "Why not?" Because the echo hasn't finished choosing, she said. It chose you. It bonded to me again. But the crown, this, only responds to full harmony. She turned and placed her hand on Jace's chest. You carry part of it now. We must awaken it together. He frowned. What does that mean? Before she could answer, a blast shook the walls. The light flickered. Stones trembled. Leo screamed and ran behind a pillar. Vera's face changed. They found us. Outside, dark ships circled overhead. This time it wasn't just seekers. These were soldiers, fully armored, weapons charged, helmets shaped like beasts. At their front stood a tall figure, female, armored in black and gold with fire in her eyes. The same woman who had picked up the seeker's helmet in the forest. She raised her voice. Vera, daughter of a deadline, come out and kneel. Vera stepped outside slowly, cloak billowing in the wind. I am not kneeling, she said. The woman sneered. You always were stubborn. Vera's eyes narrowed. Who are you? The woman removed her helmet. I am Mira, daughter of the house that destroyed yours, and I'm here to erase what's left. She pointed at Leo, who peeked from behind. A wall. That child carries what should have died. I'll take it now. Jace walked forward, blaster in one hand, echo glowing in the other. You'll have to get through me. Mira laughed. You think the echo made you strong? You're still human. Maybe, he said. But I'm not alone. Vera raised her staff, and the ruins around them lit up. Blue energy rose from the ground. Old towers groaned. The air cracked with power. The echo does not belong to empires, she said. It belongs to memory, and memory does not die. Jace stepped beside her. His eyes now glowed too. Mira shouted, Open fire! The sky exploded with light. Energy shields burst to life. Lasers bounced off ancient stone. Jace raised his hand, and the echo inside him created a wall of light that absorbed blasts like a sponge. Vera floated a few inches off the ground, her voice chanting in a language older than stars. The ruins of Virel began to wake. Statues moved. Broken walls rebuilt themselves. Crystals in the ground hummed with deep music. The city remembered its queen. Leo ran to Jace, frightened. Are we losing? Jace knelt. No, buddy. We're just getting started. He handed Leo a glowing stone. Hold this tight. It will protect you. Then he turned back to the fight. He and Vera stood together side by side, light and flame swirling around them. Mira screamed in rage as her weapons melted in her hands. You're just a man, she cried. How can you hold that power? Jace's voice rang out. Because I chose to protect, not to rule. At that moment, the echo within him pulsed once, and then shot a beam of blue light into the sky. From above, all Mira's ships began to short out and fall. Vera raised her staff and cried, Let memory live again. The earth answered, and the curse awakened. Hope was never a curse. Smoke curled through the air like ghosts. Mira's army was gone, defeated not by weapons but by memory itself. The city of Virel had awakened, called back to life by the bond between the last queen and the human who chose to stay. Now all was quiet. Jace stood at the edge of a glowing cliff, breathing heavily. His arm still burned with echo light, but it no longer pulsed wildly. It was calm, like it had accepted him fully. Behind him, Leo sat on a stone step, playing with the crystal his mother had given him. He looked up at Jace and smiled. You stayed, the boy said softly. Jace nodded. I told you I would. Vera knelt alone in the central chamber. The crown still sat on the pedestal. It pulsed gently, as if waiting. But this time she didn't hesitate. She stood up, lifted the crown, and placed it on her head. The moment it touched her, light burst through the ruins. The air shimmered. Every stone glowed blue. Images danced through the light, visions of the past. Her parents smiling, her city alive, her people laughing under stars. Tears ran down her cheeks. She was not forgotten. She was not cursed. She was home. Outside, Jace felt the energy shift. The ruins didn't feel broken anymore, they felt alive. He turned and saw Vera walking toward him, her long hair flowing in the wind, the crown glowing faintly on her brow. You look like a queen now," he said, half smiling. Vera tilted, her head. "Do I?" He nodded. "But not the kind that orders armies, the kind people would follow into fire." She smiled, truly smiled for the first time. "You helped me remember who I am," she whispered. "You helped the echo remember what it's meant for. Not power, not fear, but hope." She reached out and took his hand. "I was hunted, hated, cast out," she said. "They called me cursed." "And now?" he asked. She looked into his eyes. "Now I call myself alive." Leo ran up and hugged them both. "Can we stay here? Is it safe now?" Jace looked down at him. "Maybe not forever, but for now, yes. This place is yours. It knew you even before you were born." Vera knelt in front of her son. "This city remembers you, and one day you'll remember it too. Not the pain, but the strength that came after. Far above, in the black of space, the Council of Ash watched the final burst of energy from Virel's ruins. Their screens went dark one by one. A voice hissed, "We lost her." Another replied, "No, we restored her. The echo always finds its way." The room went silent. Back on Virel, Jace walked with Vera through the restored corridors of the old palace. Blue light flickered gently from the walls. The echo followed their footsteps, not with fear but curiosity, like it was listening. "There's something I've been thinking about," Jace said. Vera looked at him. "I'm not just bonded to this power anymore. I'm bonded to you, to your son, to this story." She stopped. "You want to stay?" He nodded. "If you'll have me." She took his hand. "We already do." That night they sat around a small fire in the heart of the city. No one was chasing them. No weapons fired. No ship circled above. Just silence. Just peace. Leo dozed off against Jace's side, holding the same glowing crystal tight to his chest. Vyra looked at them both and whispered, "For so long I thought the curse was in my blood, but now I know." Jace finished the sentence for her. It was always hope. The next morning, when the sun rose over Virel's silver towers, birds returned to the trees. Light danced off the stone walls. The city breathed again. And in the middle of it all stood three figures, one reborn queen, one brave human, and one small boy whose laugh echoed through the sky. The curse was broken, but more than that, it had never been a curse at all.